Listening is very important skill that you need to work on a daily basis. So let me walk you through some of the daily routine that I do with listening. In the listening section that we are going to see, what I do is usually I listen to NPR news for like 5 minutes a day. In the listening, you'll get to hear and listen carefully to different reporters talking about a variety of topics from around the world. And while you're listening to different accents, different people talking, different genders, males and females reporting from around the world. And that way, you will train your ear to a variety of accents, a variety of dialects, and a multi level vocabulary. This is what you need in order to make your English better in terms of pronunciation, in terms of speaking, in terms of using a variety of the vocabulary that you need on a daily basis. In addition to this, you'll be very close to a native speaker when it comes to speaking because the more you listen to NPR News, the more you listen to BBC Channel or BBC Radio, you'll be in the vicinity of the nativeness of English language. So while I'm talking, I'll show you a short part of my cell phone that will walk you through the process of how I do the daily rituals or daily routines of my listening. So please enjoy it. بجرب لغة إنجليزي أولي خالد.
Of at least 20 people. Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jim Hawk. Several people are still missing in the wake of deadly mudslides in Montecito, California. KPCC's Hetty Lynn Hurdes reports the devastation claimed the lives of at least 20 people.
Cleanup and recovery efforts continue nearly a week after flash flooding ripped through the coastal community in Santa Barbara County. 65 homes were destroyed, hundreds more damaged. Though parts of the wealthy community were spared, the debris flows leveled entire blocks, ruptured sewer lines, sheared off fire hydrants, and downed power lines. Montecito, which means Little Mountain in Spanish, was recently burned by California's largest wildfire in state history and couldn't absorb the heavy rain. One downpour dumping nearly an inch in just 15 minutes. The rebuilding of infrastructure and the homes destroyed could take months or even years. For NPR News, I'm Hetty Lynn Hurdes.
Pope Francis has begun a visit to Chile. The BBC's Jane Chambers in Santiago reports the Pope arrived to smaller crowds than previous visits to Latin America.
Not everyone is happy to see the Argentine Pope. Security has been stepped up after vandals attacked churches in Santiago with firebombs, and daily protests are planned against the Vatican's handling of the Chilean church's sexual abuse scandals. In 2011, the Chilean priest Fernando Caradima was found guilty by the Vatican of abusing teenage boys, but Pope Francis went on to appoint Caradima's close friend Juan Barros as a bishop in the south of Chile. Protesters say the bishop is guilty of protecting Caradima and should be sacked, and that the Pope needs to do more to show that he has zero tolerance against sexual abuse in the Catholic Church.
The BBC's Jane Chambers reporting. The Coast Guard says an investigation will determine what caused a fire on a shuttle boat off Florida's Gulf Coast Sunday night, leading to the death of one passenger. Port Richey Police Chief Gerard DeCanio says the blaze started in the engine room of the shuttle boat, leaving 50 people one option: jump into the chilly waters.
The passengers were able to jump off, but the ship was fully engulfed as the passengers were jumping off.
14 people were injured and one woman died several hours later in a Tampa area hospital. Investigators will be looking over the charred hull of the boat, which burned nearly to the waterline. Glowing lava continues rolling down the slopes of a Philippine volcano as authorities maintain a warning of a possible major eruption. The lava crept over a mile from the crater and ash was falling nearby. Nearly 15,000 people have fled the danger zone already. Greek lawmakers, eyeing the end of 8 years of bailout programs, approved more austerity measures late Monday as strikes and demonstrations brought much of Athens to a standstill. Protesters in Athens sprayed police with red paint outside Parliament as thousands of people marched in anti-government rallies. You're listening to NPR News in Washington. Ethiopia says it will release 115 political prisoners by Wednesday. As NPR's Ada Peralta reports, critics say the move is just for show.
Ethiopia's Attorney General Getachew Ambai says that the country has also dropped charges against 528 people. He says they are now in the process of looking at many others, but releasing more will take time. The government says it is pardoning and releasing some political prisoners to promote national reconciliation. For more than 2 years now, Ethiopia has been beset by anti-government protests. Tens of thousands have been arrested and many others have been killed. Opposition groups and critics were skeptical about the government's new claims. The Attorney General laid out a series of requirements for those they will release. But critics say that leaves little room to release bona fide political prisoners. Ada Peralta, NPR News, Nairobi.
The lead singer of the Irish rock band The Cranberries has died in London at the age of 46. Dolores O'Riordan rode to fame in the 1990s with hits like Linger, Zombie, and Dreams. In an interview with the Associated Press 10 years ago, she spoke about dealing with the details of a busy life.
When I was quite young, I became anally retentive about the whole thing, and I was a perfectionist. And you know what? It was no fun then, because you just end up kind of getting all freaked out, and if you make a mistake, you're going around in a bad mood for 8 hours, and, like, what's the point? You know what I mean?
O'Riordan died suddenly while she was in London for a recording session. London police say her death is being treated as unexplained. I'm Jim Hawk.